Hi everyone, welcome to the Tech Brainz channel. Today we will see Android sqlite tutorial. First of all, create an empty project. I created an empty project, name it as sqlite Android. And after that, open the build.gradle file. You don't need to add any dependencies, but I am adding it here as a view binding concept to be enabled it as true. And after sync the project, check that whether if there is any errors or not. Once the project is building, yes, project built successfully. Now we will go to main activity and we will create a view binding activity main binding. We have to create the binding and we have to attach the instance of the binding here. Activity main binding dot inflate get layout inflator, and inside this content view method we have to get the root of this binding. Okay, done. Now we will go to XML file and we will create a layout here to add the data into the SQLite. Whatever fields you want to insert into the SQLite table, you have to create. Based on that, you have to create a layout here. I want to add a name into the database and I want some more padding here. And after that, I want an email. I want one phone number to insert into the database. I have three fields to insert the data, one button to add the data to the database, and another button is used to read the data. And finally, I have a list view to read all the data from the SQLite database and to show in the UI. Okay, now I will create new package called databases. Inside that, I have created a class called DB helper. So in this class, we are making methods to work with SQLite. Extends SQLite open helper. Inside this class, we have to override two methods on create and on upgrade methods. So we have to create one constructor here also. So click the constructor and I don't need all these parameters to be given to this constructor because I make this class as singleton class. So I will give this data as a statically. So in a static variable, I'm creating the string database name. Whatever database name you want, you can keep it here as a static variable. We will pass this to the superclass constructor also. I name it as sqlite.db and I will create a more variable called table name. I used it as users. And we have another variable that is called integer data type and we have a database version. So by default, I set the database version to the 1. So we need to add these parameters inside the superclass. Database name and factor is a null and version db version. So this is a constructor. Now go to the onCreate method. Using this SQLite database instance, we need to execute some query here to create the table. OnCreate is called only once the database instance has been created. OnUpgrade has been called whenever we increase the database version to migrate the database. So inside that I have created a table with a name and I need three fields, no, four fields I need. First one is ID. That is not we are inserting here, but we are making it as auto increment ID integer data type. We make it as primary key and it is automatically increment. And second, we have name. The data type is text and we have a email data type is text and we have one more variable phone number. Yeah, phone number is also there. I forgot to add it here. Sorry, I will add it again. Just a sec. Before that, we will create one more execute SQL query. Drop table if exist means on upgrade method will be called only whenever we increase the database version only. So I will print some logs also. So after that, we have created a method called insert a data that return type is long. Take a parameters as name, email, and phone number. I'm taking these three params from this method and inserting into the DB. And one more thing is I have to create a static instance for this DB helper class, because we don't need to create multiple instances for this class. We need only single instance to insert the data or to retrieve the data. By default, I created it as null. And now I will check that if instance is equals to null, then I have to create the database instance. Passing the context, we have to pass the context by using the params. Yes, finally returning this instance from this method. Using that instance, I will need to get the database writable permissions and storing it inside the SQLite database. Using this SQLite database, I need to execute query. Sorry, I used insert method now. As of now, I have a table name and I need a second parameter that has column null hack, that is null, and third parameter is content values. We have to create that content values object here. And using the content values object, we have to put like a key comma value pair. We are adding the data to this content values object. We have to add data like this. After that, adding three data types into the content values, we have to use this content value object inside the third parameter as an insert method. And we have to return whether the data is inserted or not. We have to return some type of data like long variable data. We will see it later. And we will create one more method to get all the data from the database, like list of inserted records as a return type. So I have it given, that's a list of string. Again, we use the instance method to get the readable, we use readable database now. And using that SQLite database, we will make a raw query. As the first parameter is a query and second parameter we pass it as null because we don't have any selection arguments. And we get a cursor object from that raw query. Using that cursor object, we will check whether if it is not equals to null, then go inside and we will make some do while loop. And do is a thing and while is a condition. And we have one more check condition is cursor dot move to first, and while condition is move to next. Whenever the data is reading, we need to go to the next line. That's why I used beyond move to next. We will create one string list data here, and to add the data inside this list, we use cursor object dot get string. As of now, we need only name. That's why I get the, sorry, we use the email address to get the data. Okay, on create done, on upgrade done, single instance done, reading method done, insert method done, everything done. Now we will go to the main activity and we will initialize the DB helper instance here. Using DB helper instance, we get a static instance here. Using this, we will create binding concept. Using binding concept, we will add a click listener for the add data method. I think you should be aware about these click listeners. So I will create global variables, three variables, name, email, and phone number. We will get the text from the edit text and we will insert into the global variables like name, email, and phone number. We will change it here also, name, email, and phone number. Yeah, we got the three things from the edit text. If you want, you can make a check conditions also, whether if the name is not equals to null or name length is less than or equals to 0, then we will show some indications to the user that the edit text fields are empty. Like that, if you want, you can make for the three things like name, email, and phone number also. Yeah, after adding three check conditions, final else condition, I will insert data into the database. DB helper dot insert data. I will send the data to that method, I had to expect three parameters, name, email, and phone number, and it returns the long data type. Whether the data is inserted or not, it will show the output here. So we will print a toast message to check whether the data is inserted or not. Okay, the thing got looks good. And we will click a listener of read data. We will call the data helper dot read data method to get all the data from the SQLite table. So list of string we are getting from this read data method, and we are setting this string list to the list view, whatever we created in the XML file. Before that, we have to create the one array adapter to pass to the list view. Inside this array adapter constructor, we have to pass one context, and we have to pass the layout file how we want to show as a display. And third parameter is a list object. After these three things done, just a sec, we will make it as another line. Okay, and then using binding on dot list view dot set adapter, we will set this array adapter. Okay, done. And then now everything was done clearly. Yeah, this is the method to read the data. Whenever we click a button, the data will be getting into the list view. So we will run the application and we will see the output, and we will check the database also whether the data is inserted or not. So emulator has been opened. Just enter the name, email, @gmail.com. Just enter any number, whatever you want. Just entering a project. Okay, add the data. Yes, result is one. That means the record has been inserted. When we click on read data, we have read the data from the database. When I try to insert new record into the table, so I'm changing the data and I'm again inserted, and again I have click on read. I have got new data. So have you observed that the data has been inserted into the database and we are reading the data by using this simple example? I will show you one more thing also here. Just a second. Go to the data and app package name. Go to the app package name. SQLite Android, open it and go to the databases. There you can see two database files. Copy those two files into the desktop. Just open the files into the SQLite browser, DB browser. Drag that file to the DB browser Lite. So it will open the database tables. Yes, you can see the data is inserted into the table concept by using this SQLite concept. You can see here example clearly. Yes, nice. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe our channel for more videos.